Hi friends, today we are going to see the past year NEET questions for a new chapter named as evolution. So today we will complete the part 1 here. Which of the following structures is homologous to the wing of a bird? Okay, so this question was asked in the year 2016. Okay, so you have 4 options here: dorsal fin of the shark, wing of a moth, hind limb of a rabbit, flipper of whale. So the right answer is D, flipper of whale. Wings of the bird and the flippers of the whale are actually modified forelimbs. So you have a clear image of how it is there. So this is how it resembles. So which one of the following structures is homologous to the wing of a bird? Flipper of whale. Therefore the right answer is option D. Next question here. Following are the 2 statements regarding the origin of life. So same here, 2016. So let's analyze the statements here. The earliest organisms that appeared on Earth were non-green and pre-assembly anaerobes. Okay, that's actually a right answer. Okay, the first autotrophic organisms were the chemoautotrophs that never released oxygen. Okay, so what do you think will be the second one? Are they right? See, both A and B are correct. Okay, so anaerobic in the sense, what do you mean by anaerobes? They do not need any oxygen for the survival. Even without or even in the absence of oxygen, they can survive. You have a lot of microorganisms which are anaerobic. Okay, they can grow even in the absence of oxygen. So when when Earth resolved, when Earth was formed, you had these lot of anaerobes because you will not have enough food to prepare and all that. So they are dependent on another source. So they will also have another source to survive on. So the earliest organisms that appeared on Earth were non-green and pre-assembly anaerobes. It was easy for them. Now if you take green objects, if you take the living organisms which are autotrophic, there if you see they require, they can prepare their own food. But when Earth came into formation, there was not much of light or something of the sort. They say in science like that. So since they had a source from outside, they assume that this is how it has formed. Therefore, both A and B are correct. Okay. Next question here. Analogous structures are a result of dash. What do you mean by analogous? Because we need to discuss that first, then only we can move into the answer. Analogous structures. Okay. Analogous structures are similar structures that evolved independently in 2 living organisms to serve the same purpose. The term analogous structures comes from the root word meaning analogy, where the device in the English language were 2 different things on a same basis of similarities. So this is the introduction I would like to give for analogous structures. So analogous structures are the ones which have the same function, but they are not derived from the common ancestor and have undergone different patterns of development. That is, it is a result of convergent evolution, which is a natural selection that favors the same type of structure in different ancestors. Therefore, the right answer to this question is option B. Next question here. Forelimbs of cat lizard are used in walking, forelimbs of the whale are used in swimming, and the forelimb of bat is used for flying, are an example of dash. So in all the 3 categories you're explaining about forelimb, but the function for each organism is varying. So what do you call that as? Again it is called as, what do you think will be the answer? It's not convergent, it's actually homologous. Okay. So this will be homologous organs. They are, it's the common organism here. You're talking about one organ, that is forelimb. So all the 3 categories you're talking about forelimb. So what happens here? But the function that each category is doing is varying. But one thing that you have in common is forelimb. Homo means same. So you're talking about the same limb in all the 3 categories. Therefore, it is homologous organs. Therefore, the right answer is option C. Organs which have the same fundamental anatomical plan and similar embryonic origin, whatever varied function. So whatever function the function can be varied, but it is still called forelimb in all the 3 categories. So you call it as homologous organs. Next question here. Okay, so the next question here, which one of the following are analogous structures? So I just now explained you about, okay, so I already explained you what is analogous structures, right? They are structures with similar structures that are evolved independently in two living organisms. So we have two living organisms to serve the same purpose. The term analogous structures comes from the root word analogy, which is a device of the English language where two different things are on the basis of their similarities. Okay, so now you have to analyze and tell me which is actually the analogous structure here. So what do you think will be the answer here? The right answer is option B, gills of prawn and lungs of man. Analogous organs are those that perform the similar functions but have entirely different embryonic origins. So the gills of the prawn and the lungs of the man, they have the similar function, but the embryonic origin is different. Okay, next question here. The eye of octopus and eye of cat show different patterns of structure, yet they perform similar function. This is an example of dash. I think you should know the answer by now. Yes, it is analogous organs that evolved due to convergent evolution. The eye of octopus and the eye of cat show different patterns of structure, yet they have similar function. Just now we saw that, right? This is an example of analogous organs, and analogous organs have evolved due to the convergent evolution. Analogous organs have developed in the evolutionary process through adaptation of the quite different organisms to similar mode of life. So this is how we define them. Therefore, the right answer is option B. Next question here. The process by which the organisms with different evolutionary history evolved similar phenotypic adaptation in response to a common environmental challenge is called as dash. Therefore, this question was asked in the year 2013. So what do you think will be the answer here? What do you think will be the answer here? See, the wings. Okay, the wings is a classic example of the convergent evolution. Major contribution is from, major study you can do on this. Flying insects, birds and bats, same. Are they same? Same, all evolved at the capacity of flight independently. All four serve the same function and they are similar in structure but anatomically different. So birds are different, bats are different, insects are different. They all anatomically, they are totally different, but they all have a common function from the wings, which have a common function to serve as well. So now we should understand what it is. So it is called as convergent evolution. Okay, next question here. Variation in gene frequencies within the population can occur by chance rather than natural selection. And what do you refer this as? So this question was asked in the year 2013. Okay, so what do you think will be the answer here? So you're given genetic drift, random mating, genetic flow, genetic load. You have four options here. So what do you mean by random mating? We will go one by one. Maybe that will help you. What do you mean by random mating? Okay, see, random mating is actually a term which is used in population genetics. Okay, it describes an ideal situation in which all individuals on one sex are equally potentially partners of all members of the opposite sex. So this is not the answer. What do you mean by genetic drift? What do you mean by genetic drift? Fine. It's the variation in the relative frequencies of different genotypes in a small population owing to a chance of disappearance of particular genes as individuals die or they do not reproduce. So now you know what the answer is. Yes, it is genetic drift. Okay, genetic drift is actually the variation in the gene frequencies within population. And they also mention here it is owing to a change of disappearance also. There are chances of disappearance also, because imagine if the organ suddenly vanishes, seems to die, or if it is going to die without reproducing, of course the gene is also going to disappear. Therefore the right answer to this question is option A, genetic drift. Next question. Next question here. According to Draven, the organic evolution is due to dash. So this question was asked in the year 2013. Okay, so we are given four options here: interspecific, competition, reduced feeding efficiency, and intraspecific. So organic evolution, according to Draven, you call it as intraspecific. Intra means within. Okay? According to Draven, the organic evolution is due to the intraspecific competition. Individuals of the same species have variation in characteristics, and those characteristics which enable some of us to survive better than the natural conditions. For example, when we talk about climate, food, the access that we get to the other resources, everything matters there. So it's an intraspecific competition. So it would outbreed others that are less endowed to survive under such natural conditions. So the one that is strong will actually survive. The one that is weak will not be able to survive at scarce condition. Therefore will survive more, and hence is selected by nature. He is called the natural selection, and therefore according to Darwin, the organic evolution is due to the intraspecific competition. Okay. Next question here. Random unidirectional change in allele frequencies that occur by chance in all population and especially in small population is called as dash, or is known as dash. This question was asked in the year 2013. Just now we spoke about genetic drift, where we saw the change in gene frequencies, the variation in gene frequencies within populations. So the same answer comes here. It is genetic drift, but only the difference is that you're just having a different word here, which is random unidirectional change. So that's, you don't have to worry about it. They're talking about the same variation of gene frequencies within the population. Just remember, you have to write it as genetic drift, which is option D, and it is usually conducted for population. Okay, next question here. Next question. The finch species of Galapagos Islands are grouped according to their food resources. Which one of the following is not a finch food? Okay, this you will not be aware of. See, Darwin observed an amazing diversity of the creature on the Galapagos Island. He realized that there were many varieties of finches in small island, like seed-eating with altered beaks, insectivorous, vegetarian finches, and so many. Which one of the following is actually not a finch food? It is actually carrion, which is B. See, no finches feed on dead bodies. So carrion is nothing but the dead decaying matter. Okay, so it is not going to eat on that. So finches are nothing, I mean the beak modulation that you can see for each bird, for every bird it is different, right? Based upon the food resource that they take. So their beak is actually accustomed in such a manner. So they're talking about that situation here, so you don't have to worry. So it is option B, which is carrion. Finches don't feed on dead things. Okay. Next question here. Evolution of different species in a given area starting from a point and spreading to another geographical area is called as dash. Okay, very easy question. You need to use a little logic. Evolution of different species in a given area starting from a point. Okay, it is starting at a point and is spreading to the other geographical areas. Only when there is a need, only when there is scarcity of something, they move, they spread. So what do you call that as? Process of evolution of different species in a given area starting from a point and radiating to the other area of geographical areas. You call that as adaptive radiations. Example can be Darwin's finches, Australian marsupials, etc. Okay. Next question here. Which one of the following options gives a correct example each of convergent evolution and divergent evolution? Okay. So which is correct actually? Eyes of octopus and mammals, bones of forelimbs of vertebrates. So the right answer is option A. So now you have to your right side the difference between convergent and divergent. So convergent evolution, if you see, it is a process where distantly related species develop similar structures as adaptations to the environment. Divergent, all that contribute to the same meaning. They are evolution process by which the interbreeding species diverge into two or more descendant species. Both species live within the same environment when it comes to convergent, and divergent will be indifferent. Convergent will be unrelated organisms, while divergent will be two different species, resulting of two species becoming less or like common ancestor. Convergent, if you see, it occurs through the developing homologous structure, while divergent is resembling the analogous structure. So example for convergent they have given you as ostriches, rheas and emis, while if you take for divergent you have dinosaurs, Darwin finches and etc. Okay, now you understand the difference between convergent and divergent evolution. Therefore, the right answer to this question is option A. Next question here. The idea of mutation was brought forth by dash. So who brought this forward? See, what are mutations? They are sudden changes, or you can simply mention it as alterations. The right word will be alterations. Mutations are alterations of genetic material, and they occur frequently during the DNA duplication in the cell division. So there are external factors also which contribute for this mutation. You have UV rays, infrared rays, all these cause mutations when we are exposed. So the plant on which the idea of mutation was brought forth by Hugo de Virus. The plant on which he conducted this experiment was, he conducted an experiment with evening primrose. The mutation observed by Hugo de Virus was chromosomal number variant. So the right answer to this question is option B, Hugo de Virus, and he worked on an evening primrose and he actually found a mutation or a chromosomal number variant. So that was due to the mutation that occurred. So this question was asked in the year 2012. Don't forget, mutations are nothing but the alterations that are happening during cell division. Okay, so with this we complete the first part of evolution. Hope to meet you in the next part of the same chapter. Thank you.